on a Christmas morning that was supposed to be quiet, celebratory, and forgettable. The Chinese entertainment industry instead detonated into full-blown chaos as a set of leaked images and whispered insider accounts ignited one of the most explosive celebrity revelations of the year. With Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi suddenly thrust into the center of a scandal no one saw coming, but everyone is now obsessively dissecting, because what began as a rumored private Christmas gathering at Zhao Lusi's agency headquarters quickly transformed into a viral spectacle that blurred the lines between romance, privacy, strategy, and betrayal. After photographs surfaced allegedly capturing the two stars in an unmistakably intimate embrace beneath festive decorations, a moment so tender and unguarded that fans immediately questioned whether this was the long-awaited confirmation shippers had been dreaming of for years or a catastrophic breach of trust that neither star ever intended to make public. And as the images spread at an almost impossible speed across Weibo, Douyin, and international platforms, racking up tens of millions of views within hours, the silence from both agencies only fueled the frenzy, leaving audiences worldwide asking how two of China's most carefully managed, famously private celebrities could be exposed so suddenly, so personally, and on a day so symbolically loaded with family meaning. Especially when multiple sources insist that Zhao Lusi's relatives were present, elevating the encounter far beyond casual dating rumors and into territory that suggests emotional seriousness, long-term intention, and possibly even future commitments. While entertainment reporters scrambled through the night to verify details and insiders hinted that the building's security protocols were far too strict for such images to leak accidentally, igniting darker speculation that someone within the inner circle may have deliberately tested public reaction before an official announcement, a theory made even more compelling by eyewitness reports describing Liu Yuning arriving with wrapped Christmas gifts and red roses, behaving with relaxed familiarity toward staff, laughing easily, and showing none of the nervous restraint typical of a first visit, all of which implies a relationship that has been unfolding quietly for far longer than fans were ever allowed to suspect. And when the midnight photos finally escaped private chat groups and hit public timelines, body language experts, psychologists, and fans alike began analyzing every frame, noting the natural closeness, the ease of touch, the softness in their expressions, and the undeniable comfort that signals something deeply established rather than newly formed, forcing the industry to confront not just the romance itself, but the massive commercial, cultural, and reputational ripple effects that now loom over both stars. From endorsement contracts and drama casting decisions to fan loyalty dynamics in an ecosystem where romantic availability is often treated as a marketable asset, especially as Zhao Lusi's girl-next-door image and Liu Yuning's carefully cultivated appeal face a sudden narrative shift that could redefine their careers depending on how this story is handled. While debates rage over whether holding the celebration at an agency building reflects professional caution or institutional approval, whether the silence from management teams is strategic validation or internal crisis control, and whether legal action may follow over potential privacy violations, all of which has transformed this Christmas Day moment into a defining cultural flashpoint that reignites urgent conversations about celebrity autonomy in the age of smartphones and surveillance. And as fans divide between celebration, denial, heartbreak, and vindication, one truth remains unavoidable. This story is far from over, and whatever comes next may permanently alter how Chinese entertainment handles love, secrecy, and control in the public eye, because beyond the shock value of the images themselves lies a deeper narrative about power, image management, and the unspoken contracts between stars and their audiences. Contracts that are rarely written down yet fiercely enforced by public expectation, fan economy dynamics, and brand alliances that depend on carefully curated personas, and in this case the persona fractures felt almost seismic, as longtime observers noted. How both Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi have historically navigated their careers with unusual caution, rarely allowing personal details to slip into interviews, avoiding overtly suggestive interactions in public, and maintaining a disciplined boundary between on-screen chemistry and off-screen ambiguity, which is precisely why this sudden exposure felt so destabilizing, so jarring, and so difficult to reconcile with the images fans believed they knew, prompting many to revisit old interviews behind the scenes clips, award show interactions, and fleeting glances that were once dismissed as coincidence, but are now being reinterpreted as subtle foreshadowing, as if the entire industry narrative is being rewritten in reverse, frame by frame, with fans asking themselves how much was genuine connection and how much was expertly controlled misdirection, while others question whether the modern celebrity machine even allows for genuine intimacy without eventual collateral damage, particularly in an era where a single smartphone photo can dismantle years of strategic planning in seconds, and the more the story circulates, the more it exposes fault lines within fandom culture itself, where support can quickly morph into entitlement, celebration into interrogation, and affection into demands for disclosure, creating an emotional battlefield where every silence is treated as confession and every delay as manipulation. A phenomenon that PR experts warn is becoming increasingly volatile as audiences grow more participatory, more investigative, and less willing to accept polished narratives without raw access, and yet amid the chaos there are quieter voices urging restraint, reminding others that regardless of fame, both Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi remain human beings whose private moments were never meant for public consumption, raising uncomfortable ethical questions about whether the real scandal lies not in the possibility of a relationship, but in the collective appetite to consume intimacy without consent, an appetite amplified by algorithms that reward outrage and curiosity over empathy, pushing stories like this to the top of feeds not because they are confirmed truths, but because they generate engagement at scale. And as legal scholars weigh in on the complexities of privacy rights in semi-private spaces, and as industry insiders quietly speculate about emergency meetings, contract clauses, and brand risk assessments unfolding behind closed doors, the public remains suspended in a state of narrative limbo, refreshing feeds for statements that may never come, interpreting every minor digital movement as a coded signal, and projecting hopes, fears, and assumptions onto two individuals who have yet to speak a single word publicly about what actually transpired that night, a silence that in itself has become the loudest element of the story, because in an industry addicted to constant updates, silence feels unnatural, provocative, and strategic, and whether that silence ultimately breaks with a denial, a confirmation, or a carefully neutral statement about respecting privacy, it will almost certainly fail to satisfy everyone, as no official response can undo the emotional investment that has already been triggered across millions of screens, nor can it fully control how this moment will be archived, remembered, and referenced in the future. Since celebrity history is rarely written by those who live it, but by those who watch, screenshot, and reinterpret it endlessly, turning fleeting moments into permanent mythology, and so this Christmas Day revelation stands not just as a piece of entertainment news, but as a case study in modern fame, illustrating how love, rumor, commerce, and surveillance collide in an ecosystem where visibility is both currency and curse, where carefully guarded personal boundaries can dissolve overnight, and where the line between narrative and reality becomes increasingly impossible to define, ensuring that even as the immediate frenzy eventually cools, the implications of this moment will linger far beyond the holiday season, shaping how stars protect themselves, how agencies strategize disclosures, and how audiences negotiate their role as spectators in an age where access feels limitless, but accountability remains elusive. So if you want to stay ahead of every twist, leak, reinterpretation, and official response as this unprecedented saga continues to evolve and reshape conversations about celebrity culture itself, thank you for reading. Don't forget to subscribe to 24H News, TM, share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below, and join us as we continue to bring you the stories everyone is whispering about but no one dares to explain in full.